welcome to my channel, Dr. Richie's Masterclass. Well, on this channel, I make videos on financial investment and saving, especially for young people, whether you are a working professional or whether you are a college student or whether you're simply who wants to grow financially in life, then yes, please go ahead and click subscribe to my channel. So friends, in today's video, let's try to discuss one of these very big issue that a lot of young people are facing these days. That is like, why do we tend to go financially broke very fast? I mean, have you ever tried to observe or have you ever tried to ask yourself that the moment you get your salary, the moment you get your money, all of your money, it goes towards paying your bills, towards paying all your expenditure, and then like you are just left to be confused and wonder where all your money has gone. I mean, I can totally relate to that because I've been there down once and also I've experienced that. But first of all, let's try to questions. Like, is it because of low salary or is it because that things have become very expensive these days that most of us are getting financially broke very easily? Well, this can be some of the reasons, but ultimately what matters is not because of like low salary or whether one earns a higher salary. I mean, like personally, I've seen a lot of people, they are earning like lakhs, like more than 1 lakh in 1 month. But because of their bad financial habits and bad financial managements, even they tend to go financially broke. So what I'm trying to tell is that irrespective of whether you have a very low salary or whether you have a higher salary, ultimately what matters is your financial management. So to answer the questions why we tend to go financially broke, let me list down some of the top 5 financially toxic habits, which is the reason why most of us are going financially broke. So number 1, this is none other than drinking and smoking. I mean, I don't even have to emphasize or explain further, but I mean, all of us know, especially people who are into regular drinking and smoking habits, they wouldn't even realize like how much amount, how much money has been spent on their daily drinking and smoking habits. And at the end of the month, they'll be left to wonder, okay, why they're getting financially broke very fast. Okay, so I'm not talking about like whether you are drinking occasionally during, let's say, social functions or events at a friend's wedding, at your cousin's wedding, family functions, and things like that. But what I mean to say is, like, for example, someone who is into regular drinking and smoking habits. Like, I mean, I've personally seen, okay, like people who are into, smoking habits. I mean, the minimum amount that they will spend in one day. I mean, a packet of cigarette, it will cost like around like 100 or 200 like that. So every day, if they are spending that much of amount, then you can just imagine in 1 month how much it will be. It will be more than like 3,000, 5,000, or even more than that. So you can just imagine like 3,000 to 5,000. Yes, it seems to be small, okay, when you are just going on around with your daily habits. But once the amount gets added up, then it becomes such a huge amount. And this 3,000 and 5,000, just imagine, it could have gone into your investment and saving. So you can just imagine like how much we are spending on this kind of habits. Let's go to the second one. The second reason why most of us are going financially broke is because we follow this formula that is enjoyment first and then saving later. So because like we try to follow this formula, enjoyment first, spending first, and then save later. So the moment you get your salary, what do? The moment you get your money, you try to spend it out on eating out. You try to go for shopping, you try to go to expensive places like restaurants, and then like you wouldn't even realize like it's not even 1 week of the month. You will just be left to wonder after paying off all your bills and expenditure, and then like you'll try to question yourself, oh, why am I getting financially broke very fast? But we don't tend to realize that it's because of this one very bad toxic habits that we tend to follow this formula first, that is like enjoyment first, spending first, and then like save later. Because if you try to spend all your money on enjoyment and entertainment and recreation first, then you won't have any money left for your saving and investment. So I can teach you like one tips and tricks and strategy to follow in order to avoid this habit. So what I do is that Instead of following this formula, I try to follow this formula that is like save and invest first and then spend and enjoy it later. So how I do this is that the moment I get my money, the moment I get my salary, I usually have like more than one bank account. So one of the bank account is my normal bank account where I do all my spending, and then the other bank account is where I don't try to touch at all. So whatever the money that I want to save and invest, I try to put in that second account the moment I get my salary or money, and then I'll never touch that account. So whatever the amount is there in the second amount, it will go for investment and saving, whether it is for monthly like SIP or whether it's for mutual fund. And these days, I don't even have to do anything. Like it's become like everything has become automatic. So the money that I'm putting for investment in my monthly like mutual fund and SIP. So these people they have introduced this auto debit system where whatever the amount that I'm going to save and invest, that will be automatically debited from my account. So that means that I don't have to do anything else. So this way, what I do is that instead of me like spending first and enjoying first with the money that I got, I try to put it into my investment and saving account as early as possible as I can, and I only try to spend and enjoy only with the remaining amount left. So because the thing is that human beings, like when we have more, then we tend to spend more without controlling, without putting any limits. But if we have less, then we try to spend very economically, and then we try to also manage it very well. So this is like an example of developing a good financial habits, a good financial management by managing out of your limited resources. And this is what even psychology says also, because I had psychology paper in my college days. So even the psychological theory, it says that human beings, when they have very less limited resources, then they become very skillful. They try to manage the best out of it. So ultimately, what matters is, as I've mentioned again, it's not about having a low salary or a high salary. If you're able to manage even at a very low salary, then you'll be able to do that even when you start earning more. But if you don't have this kind of financial habits, when you're earning less, there's no guarantee that suddenly like your financial habits will become more better like once you start earning, and that you'll be able to save and invest more. Because if you don't maintain this habit even at earning at a low salary, then the same thing, the same habits, the same cycle will continue even once you start earning. Okay, so these habits, in order to avoid this habit, just enjoy this. Based on my experiences, I'm talking about follow this formula that is like save and invest first, and then spend it only later once you have the extra budget to spend. Okay. The third reason why most of us tend to go financially broke, and this is applicable to most of us like millennials and Gen Zs. Okay, so because we have this habit of eating out, going to expensive places like restaurant and cafe, and then we eat a lot of like packaged foods. Many of us, we are so much dependent on food delivery, online food delivery apps like Zomato and Swiggy. And I'll just give you an example. For example, like in Dimapur, which is the place where I'm staying right now. So like 1 kg of pork, okay, it costs around like 350 rupees. So if you are eating at home, then you that much amount you are spending, and that's like more than enough for one person for 3 to 4 days. Okay, because aram say like that 1 kilogram of pork, it will last for more than like 3 4 days. But if you're eating out at a restaurant or a cafe, then you're going to spend that much amount in just like one time for one plate of this one rice with pork and other curries. And it can be more than that also. It can be 500 and 600. So just imagine, if you are eating out very frequently, you're going to spend that much amount very frequently, like almost every day, then you wouldn't even realize like in 1 month like how much you have spent on eating out. The fourth reason like why many of us young people are going financially broke, this is because of parties. Okay, so I've mentioned this in the beginning also, like once we get our salary, like we always have this temptation to go out to have fun. I mean, like enjoying with your friends, going out, it's a good thing. Yes, we have to do that, but we should do it like with a lot of planning, and with a lot of like financial budgeting, to make sure that we are not spending unnecessarily on things which are beyond our basic needs. And one of the very bad toxic habits that is very common among young people is that yes, I also organize like parties with friends occasionally. We go out, we try to have lunch, dinner together. We try to have spend good quality time together. But if you're doing it because of like very like spontaneous or very impulsive random reasons that, for example, one of your friends will suddenly say that, oh, today I feel like drinking out, today I feel like eating out. And then in that, like, because these are very sudden spontaneous planning, and because of that, there is no guarantee that everyone will contribute financially. Okay, you might even end up as that person like who will end up paying everything, for organizing that parties. But if you try to do it with a good, planning with everyone, then, because like when we do that among our friends, we always try to plan it out properly in advance, and then we try to make sure that everyone is like contributing. But if it's based on like sudden impulsive plans, which is very common among young people, then you might not even realize like how much you have spent, because you're not only spending for yourself, but you're also spending for others. This is the reason why I said that, like attending parties and these things, like this is also one of the top financially toxic habits, which is the reason why we are getting financially broke. And the last but not the least, and which is also like one of the most important one, is we don't have the habit of financial budgeting. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why even those people who are earning like more than 1 lakh per month, they are also like going financially broke. So I'll just give a very simple basic example that everyone can understand. So, for example, let's say you want to have a cup of coffee. So a cup of coffee outside, okay, that will cost a minimum like 50. I'm counting at a minimum level. Okay, it can be more than that also. Obviously, if you go to expensive place, that will be more than that. And then again, like on top of that, let's say if you're going out, then you might spend like 100 to 200 for transport, or like if you have your own vehicle, then you will spend that much on fuel. And then again, let's say if you are having lunch, outside, then minimum like you'll have to spend 200. And then like again, like you might want to munch on something, so you might want to eat like all this like junk foods and like all this like snacks, then you might spend around another 100. Okay, like this I'm counting at a very minimum level. Then again, like there can be like lots of random spontaneous expenditure, so another 50 rupees for that. I mean, like for example, just like a small water bottle, it costs like 10, 20 for that 1 liter water bottle. So everything can add up, and I'm just counting at the minimum. So like let's add up all this amount, then this becomes like 500. Okay, so just imagine like 500 you're spending in one day, then into 30 days, okay, this will become around 15,000. Like just imagine like 15,000. 15,000, if you would have invested or saved that much of amount, then just see in 1 year how much 15,000 will give you. 15,000, that will be around like I think 1 lakh, this 1 lakh 80,000, right? So that much of amount like you are wasting on, because you're not giving any kind of this you're not doing any kind of financial budgeting. So what I do is that I always try to make sure that I maintain this financial budget every day. Okay, so that I'll be able to understand, okay, if I'm spending this much of amount 500 today, then I'll be able to understand that where all my money are going unnecessarily, all this unnecessary expenditure, then ultimately I'll try to cut down all this unnecessary expenditure. So tomorrow I'll make sure that I don't spend unnecessarily on things like, for example, instead of having coffee outside, it's always better to have it at home. I mean, I can make like better coffee and tea compared to those who are making outside. And then I also always carry home pack tiffin foods instead of eating out, even when going to workplace and all. So this way I'm saving that much of amount. So this way, if you're doing this financial budgeting, you can always have your set your daily target. Okay, so for example, like someone spending like 500 in one day, you can try to spend less than that. So if you're spending let's say like 100 to 200 per day, then in 1 month your this expenditure will be around like 3,000, 4,000, like that. Versus someone who is spending who is not doing any financial budgeting, they won't even realize how much they're spending. So it can be 500, it can be 600, so they will spend more than 15,000 or 20,000. It's even like similar to a salary of someone in a place like Dimapur. So you can just imagine. Okay, so for me, like I try to set my target as 100 per day. Okay, so today if I've spent like 200 or 300, then tomorrow I'll try to make sure that I spend less, so that my daily targets it's not disturbed. the daily targets, the daily budget that I'm keeping, I try to make sure that okay, every day I'm spending that much of amount. So this is just a simple example that I'm showing to demonstrate that how much money we are wasting unnecessarily. Okay, so these are the top 5 financially toxic habits based on my own personal experiences. And if you want to add more, you can comment down below also. And then if you have any questions, any doubts and clarification, then you can also comment down below. And with this, I want to say thank you so much to everyone for watching my video. Hope to make more videos on my channel, especially for young people. Like if you really want to grow financially in life, want to learn financial habits, tips and tricks and strategies, then yes, please go ahead and click subscribe. With this, thank you once again for watching my video. Hope to see you all again next time.